Good morning, my friends, and Happy New Year. Happy 2020. And this is our first Friday video in this new year. So I wish you all a beautiful, healthy year and full of joy, happiness, love, and of course, beads. So today I have a project for you that checks all the boxes. It is easy, it's fun, and it's really quick. So this is our Edge of Boho Bracelet, and it combines just a few very simple elements. It's leather, chain, and this is that magical chain that I always talk about. I use this chain for, well, obviously for combining with leather. I use it for crimping, and today I also am using individual links as a spacer. And I have created several different looks. Well, you know, everybody has a different personality. We all love different colors. So I created multiple looks for this bracelet. It is all exactly the same technique, but you change just a couple of simple elements and it gives our bracelet a whole different personality. So this is really one of my favorite techniques to demo. I have actually done multiple variations of this bracelet, and it's always popular. Every variation that I have done of this has been really fun and popular, and I am so glad that you guys are joining me for this. So before we get started, of course, I would love to say hello to you.
Lonnie says good morning. Just finished last night's video. Beautiful necklaces. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you so much, Lonnie. It is so good to be back, and I'm so glad you watched last night's video.
Angela says good morning.
Good morning, Angela.
And Brenda says good morning.
Good morning, Brenda. All right, ladies, so since Lonnie mentioned last night's video, I thought maybe I should just show you what we did last night. And this is Red Rock Canyon, so this is the original color. And the color that I demoed last night was Blue River Stones. So, because you know, I really felt like this looks like river stones. I love river stones or beach stones. If you missed this video, it is archived. There is a link to the video in the comments for this video. And this is actually on my other channel. And so some videos I do on the Irina Miech channel and others I do on the Eclectica channel. So please be aware that they're, well, actually pages, I should say pages. So please be aware that there are 2 pages. And the Red Rock Canyon is already listed, and we are going to list the river stones today. So it's going to be in the featured on Facebook section, as are all new kits.
Carlotta says good day.
Good morning, Carlotta.
And Barb says good morning. I'm still loving the blue one.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much. Well, Barb, the blue one will be up sometime this afternoon.
Julie says hello.
Hi, Julie.
And Linda A says good morning and Happy New Year.
Hello, Linda, and thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Linda W says good morning. Is this the boho bracelet live? Thanks.
Yes, it is indeed. So I'm calling this bracelet the Edge of Boho. It's a bit edgy. You know, when you combine chain and metals, there is there's a bit of an edge to it. And Yes, it is most definitely live. I love it when you guys watch live because I love interacting with you. And this way too, if you have questions, comments, we all get to benefit from your questions.
Robin says good morning.
Good morning, Robin.
And Tina says good morning.
Good morning, Tina. All right, ladies. So now that we all said good morning, I think we're ready to start. What do you think?
Linda sends a heart.
Oh, thank you, Linda. A heart right back to you. All right. So let's see. Where are my samples? So I have a couple of working samples here. And we will start. So, I love making these bracelets, I have to tell you, because as I said, they're really quick. They're so easy. And there's just something so very satisfying about making these. So I made 3 colorways already, and you see them in front of you. And today I will be working on 2 more colorways. Because, each one has a different personality, and it is just so fun.
Marlene says good morning, sunshine.
Good morning, Marlene. And I'm so glad you joined me. All right, guys. So this next one is actually kind of a little bit inspired by my recent vacation to Florida. It's a little button that is a sand dollar. And of course, when you have a sand dollar, you have to have blue leather. It's a must. I feel that it's a must. So this is going to be named something nautical. I'm not quite sure yet. So if you want to help me come up with a nautical name, I would be so happy. So we are starting with 5 feet of leather, and this is 1.5 I was going to say inch, but it's not inch. It's 1.5 millimeter leather. And for most people, 5 feet is going to be a little bit of an overkill, but I think it's better to have more rather than less. So take your length of 5 feet of 1.5 millimeter leather and just fold it in half. And this is where the button is going to go, right in the center.
Connie says good morning, Irina, Tony, and Lauren.
Good morning, Connie. I'm so glad you're joining us. All right, ladies, so my button is in the center of the leather, and I'm going to start at one end of the chain. And so let me give you a little hint. So we will be using a couple of links of the chain for our ends right here. So you see this little spacer, and it just looks like a spacer, but it's actually a chain link. So you can take off a couple of chain links now, or you can take them off later. It doesn't matter. But when we get to the point where we are sizing our bracelet, and we're not going to size our bracelet now, even if you know exactly what size bracelet you want. So you can see I'm taking off one chain link, right? And this is that magical chain that is not soldered. There are these perfect little round links, but really they are kind of like jump rings, and you can very easily open them and take them off. And let's just go ahead and close it right back up, exactly the way we would close a jump ring. And you can see that it just lines up so beautifully. You can't even tell that a second ago this was an open link. So we're going to set this aside, and you're going to need a couple of them. But as I was saying, you can do it now, or you can do it when you're ready to size your bracelet, and we'll get to that soon. Okay, guys, so we're going to start at one end of the chain. And actually, I'm just a little bit ahead of myself because I'm so excited about this bracelet. So as you can see here, let me show you a couple of my samples. So we're going to knot the leather before we actually pick up the chain. We're going to, my favorite, just a simple overhand knot. I love simplicity. So we're going to take both ends of the leather and just create an overhand knot. And we want the overhand knot to be, about half an inch from the button or so that we can very easily move the button and make it nice and snug.
Tasha says, good morning. I'm so glad to be available for this one.
Yay! Good morning, Tasha. I am so glad you're here as well.
Karen says, good morning, all.
Good morning, Karen.
And Marlene is wondering how long the chain is.
Oh, good question, Marlene. So most of my samples use about 7 inches of chain. When you get the kit, you're actually getting 8 inches of chain. But this is what I was going to say about sizing. The reason you cannot size this type of a bracelet beforehand, meaning you cannot know exactly how many inches of chain you're going to need, you can get pretty close. But as you create the bracelet, the chain sort of gets a little bit compacted. So it can start out, let's say, at 7 inches. By the time you're done, the chain portion, depending on how tight you're making the bracelet, it might sort of compact itself to about 6 3/4 inches, depending on the type of chain and the exact size of leather. And even when you have the exact size of leather, when you buy it as a 1.5 millimeter leather, sometimes it's 1.4, sometimes it's 1.6. So that's why I really prefer to size my bracelet once I get to almost the end, and we will be doing that today.
Betty says, good morning. Sorry I'm late. The snow, cold, and I are not getting along with each other this morning.
Oh, good morning, Betty. I feel you. I don't ever get along with the snow or the cold. I don't know why I live in Wisconsin, but I tell you, I love Wisconsin in spring, summer, and fall. But the cold is just not my thing either.
Carol says, good morning, all.
Good morning, Carol. All right, ladies. So we tied the knot. And you know what, Betty? You really did not miss a whole lot. So if you guys are just joining me, this is what we're doing. Not just, you know what? This is such a simple project. We have time to do this in a very leisurely way. So this is what we're doing. We are making the Edge of Boho Bracelet, and I have several different variations here. And you really did not miss anything except for we tied a knot to secure the button. And again, the knot is approximately half an inch from the button shank. And this space is only intended to give the button a way to move very easily.
Patty T says, sorry I'm late. Good morning.
Good morning, Patty. All right, guys. So now that we have the knot, we are going to start weaving the leather through the chain. And this is very, very simple, you guys. So one end of the leather goes through the link, the and link, and the other end of the leather goes through the same and link in the opposite direction. So these two ends are always going to go in the opposite direction. And you can see I'm tightening the leather until, okay, so the chain wants to get in the way a little bit, not a big deal. So we're going to tighten the leather until we're right back at that same knot.
Lindsay says, good morning, Irina, Tony, Lauren, and all.
Good morning, Lynn. So nice to hear from you. Okay, so now we are going to go through the next link, and we're going to do the very same thing. So one end of the leather is going to go through, this is the next link, in one direction, and the other end of the leather is going to go in the opposite direction. So let's do that. So you know what I was saying about how the leather sometimes can be just a little bit varied. Well, this color seems to be just a little bit heavier, but not a problem. It fits beautifully. And we're just going to continue going through the links with our leather in opposite directions. Now, there is a little bit of a rule as far as which way does each end of the leather is going to go, which direction. So, and you can see I am holding the rest of the chain out of the way so that I can very easily go through the chain. So you're going to see that the leather is starting to make a little bit of a pattern. And once you have that little bit of a pattern, it becomes quite a bit easier to figure out which way each leather end goes. But so this is the rule. Each leather end goes through the closest. Okay, so how do I explain this? You know, the easiest things are always the hardest to explain. So you see how this end of the leather right now is on top. So if it's on top, it goes towards the bottom. If it's on the bottom, it comes up. So you see how this end is at the bottom? Well, I'm about to go through the bottom of the link, and it goes up.
Linda A. says, Irina, you are clever and talented.
Oh, Linda, you're so kind. Thank you so much. So you can see how the leather is forming a pattern. If you were to do this in the direction opposite than it's supposed to be, it is not going to form the same pattern. So let's do one more link, and then maybe we'll just for fun, we'll do it in the wrong direction, right? So this one is closer to the bottom, so it goes from the bottom up. So this one goes from the bottom up, and this one goes from the top down. So it's very, very easy to see when you're doing it right. But maybe say you're not paying attention and whatnot, and you somehow end up doing it wrong. So I'm just going to show you that it is so very noticeable right away. So I'm going in the opposite direction than it's supposed to go at this point, right? And it's very easy to fix, you know. If I go in the opposite direction and I notice it immediately, it's very easy to fix. So can you see that this does not look right? Yeah, so you can see it immediately on that very next link. So let's just back this out, and now we're going to correct our mistake. So I am just going to back this out. Well, you guys get the idea. I think this is pretty easy to do, and I think you will find it very fun and actually kind of really, I find it very meditative. Okay. So,
Karen says, looks like it kinks the chain.
I wouldn't say that it kinks the chain. What it does is it kind of brings the chain links together just a little bit. So, and again, depending on how tightly you do this, and I try to not to go too tightly because of course we want, oh, and look, I think I just made a boo-boo. That's right. This one was not even on purpose.
So I try to not be too tight in my weave because it's, you want to have a really nice movement in your bracelet. And maybe, actually, you know what? Now that I have thought about this, maybe it looks kinked when you do it wrong. When you go in the wrong direction, I think it sort of looks like the chain is kinked. So I can see where you're coming from. All right, so what do you guys think? This is easy enough, right? This is a very, very simple weave, and the chain itself almost just seems to guide you. So I think we're probably okay to go on to the next step. What do you guys think? Are we ready to go on to the next step, or do we still want to do a little more? We have time. Oh, and you know what? Again, I guess I wasn't paying attention, so I went from the opposite direction. But you can see that this end of the leather is on the bottom, and so I go from the bottom up. And this one is on top, so I go from the top down.
Karen says really simple and beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much, Karen.
And Lindsay says, I made some bracelets similar to this several years ago using bicycle chain. It's fun to do and gives a great look mixing the chain with the leather.
You are so right. I love doing this with bicycle chain as well. Maybe one of these days we'll have to do that as well. Same weave, same exact weave. You can do this with different sizes of Rollo. Like this is a Rollo, this is a textured Rollo. So either one works out so great.
Sharon says, lovely, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so, well, you get the weave, so very simple. And now, through the magic of Facebook Live, look, we have a whole bracelet that is almost finished. And yes, I like using different colors and different buttons, and I think it creates different moods. Well, this one is completely different. Well, the leather is a different color than everything that you have seen thus far. Because, you know what, I wish I would have grabbed a whole spool of leather, but I didn't think of that until just now. But this leather is actually so super fun. The way that it's dyed, you can see that it has different colors in it. And this is, I don't know, to me, these are like sort of slightly subdued Rasta colors. Or these are also kind of like colors of candied corn. Or not candy corn, the other corn, the corn that we give to squirrels. What is that? Indian corn. Yes, and it's just really fun. So I'm going to jump from my beautiful sand dollar to the Rasta colors. You guys tell me what to call this, because I'm thinking we're probably going to make both of these into kits, these colorways. So give me some thoughts as far as what do we call these colorways. So a little bit of just a thought on using this colorful leather, and this is a first for me. And when I started, when I was tying the knot in the center, the way that I did it is I pretty much just decided I want a little block of a solid color, and so I tied the knot in the center of the green. So it just kind of goes green, orange, and then it goes back to green, and then yellow. And I was thinking, do I call it yellow? Do I call it mustard?
Patty T says, love that leather, love the variation in colors.
Oh, thank you so much, Patty.
And Robin R says Rasta colors.
Oh, you like Rasta colors.
And Carol says beach tones.
And I'm assuming beach tones would be the sand dollar. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kathy M is wondering what size leather you have.
So thank you for asking, Kathy. It is 1.5 millimeter leather. You can do this with any size leather as long as the chain link size gets either larger or smaller with your leather. And you know, when I say any size leather, really I don't actually mean that. I mean you can do it with 1 millimeter, 1.5, or 2 is the largest I would go.
Sharon says this style looks good for men too.
You are so absolutely right, Sharon. And depending on the button, or if you wanted to, you could go with a more manly clasp. This would be a really good one as a man's style. All right, so as you can see, this one is just about done. In fact, I stopped at roughly at the size that I wanted to stop. But you know, just for sake of continuity, let's just go through one more link.
Lonnie says autumn summer.
I like autumn summer.
And Kathy G says rainbow leather.
I like that as well. Rainbow leather. It reminds me of rainbow fish. Do you know those? They're kids' books, you know, for like little kids. There was that rainbow fish. I don't remember that series, what it was called, but it was very cute. But I like that. Okay, so when you get to the size you want to get to, and you still have some links, no worries. We are just going to take off whatever links we are not using. And again, we're just going to take them off the very same way we did in the beginning of the video. And 2 of these links are going to become our spacers. So again, we are just going to take this link and use our chain nose and our flat nose pliers and close it just as if it were a jump ring and set it aside. All right, so a little bit, let's kind of backtrack a little bit to sizing. So let me show you a finished bracelet. Actually, let's see which one. I think this one fits me. And so I'm going to demo on this one. So it's just a button and a button loop, right? So everybody knows what that looks like. And we're going to look at how this is constructed. So the loop actually adds a little bit of space to, or I should say, it adds a little bit of length to your bracelet. So when you figure out your actual size, just consider that the loop is going to make your bracelet longer by whatever length your loop is. And depending on the size of your button, you may have a smaller loop or you may have a larger loop. So that is how much, the length of the loop is how much space we are adding to our overall length. So with the sample that I'm making, actually I'm just going to leave it on. So the sample that I'm making right now, I don't really expect it to fit me, so I'm not doing that. But if I were making it for myself, or if I were making it for a specific person, I would most definitely actually put it on them and estimate the size of the loop, so about that much, and that is the length of your bracelet. So I hope that made sense. So the loop obviously needs to be just ever so slightly larger than the button. And we're going to again tie our favorite overhand knot. And I don't make it super tight right away. You know what? Okay, so let's backtrack. You know, every time I do this, every time I make these bracelets, I make them slightly differently, and I'm trying to be consistent. So let me backtrack And actually, it looks like I did tie a knot at the chain. And this is, you can tie a knot or not tie a knot. So it's really a matter of style. So if you like the look of the knot at the end of the chain, you can do that. Okay, so that was my backtracking. So now let's get back to the loop. So now we're actually going to make another knot, and that is going to be our loop. So our loop has to fit the button, and I'm just estimating this, and you can see I didn't tighten the knot quite. And let's see how our button fits into the loop. So it's a bit on the small side, right? Actually, it's not bad. It's actually not bad at all. So I think I want the knot to stay exactly where it is. And you can use a ruler if you're not sure. You can measure where it is before you tighten it, and then measure it again once you tighten it, or in the process of tightening it. So I'm just going to tighten it as much as I can. There we go. And let's just see if we're still happy. And I think yes, we are. So there it is. And now we just have these long ends of our leather to deal with. So as I said, I prefer to give you a little bit more leather rather than less, so that if you have a larger size that you're working with, or it's just a little bit easier to work with longer ends. But you can always save the ends. As you know, I save all my leather schnibbles, and if they're really teeny tiny leather schnibbles, I simply use them when I glue. They're really helpful, and these are longer leather schnibbles, so these actually could be a part of a project.
Elizabeth gives you a big thumbs up.
Oh, thank you so much, Elizabeth. I appreciate it. I'm giving you a thumbs up as well. So I just tied a knot, and let's just tie the other one at the same time. And this is just a little decorative touch to our bracelet. This is just a fun way to finish our bracelet. And I'm just using these 6O seed beads. And here is our link. Remember, that is the link we just took off our chain when we sized the bracelet. And now that link is going to serve as a spacer, just a little decorative spacer. And no one would ever guess that that started its life as part of this chain. But it does make a fun little spacer, because it's hard sometimes to find spacers that have a large hole, and this would have to have a 1.5 millimeter hole. So if you need a leather spacer, just use a chain link. And of course I'm doing the same on the other side. And again, we're going to finish this with an overhand knot. All right, and now it's just a matter of trimming our leather. Ta-da! And our bracelet is finished. So, as I said in the beginning, this is quick, easy, and most definitely fun to make. And this is definitely going to be a new color now that I've made it. I love it. This is, as I said, this is the first time I'm working with this colorful leather. I like rainbow. Rainbow what? Rainbow. I forgot. Somebody said rainbow. It was
Rainbow leather.
Rainbow leather. Okay. rainbow leather is good, or maybe just rainbow. So this is going to be our new color, and eventually when I finish my little sand dollar one, that is also going to be a new color. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen this afternoon or it may happen early next week. So do watch for these, please.
Linda
Ooh,
says autumn
Rasta
rain.
Autumn rain. I like that. Are we talking about this? Somebody said Rasta rainbow. Maybe Tony said that. Yes, Tony said Rasta rainbow. What do you guys think?
Connie says, do you glue the knots when making the button loop closure?
Connie, thank you for asking. I do not glue the knots. I glue the knots when I use string, when I use griffin cord or seal-on. I hardly ever glue leather, and with these types of bracelets, I have never once had it come apart or heard from anyone that it came apart. So I think these, as long as you make it nice and snug, this is pretty strong. It holds really well. And if you're not sure if it's nice and tight, you could always use your flat nose pliers and just, you know, just tug on it a little bit. I wouldn't tug too hard. Oh, and look at this. It's just kind of flattened a little bit from the flat nose pliers. And I kind of like that look. Look at that. That's
Connie
kind of
says,
fun.
okay, thanks.
Yes, my pleasure, Connie. Again, this is why I love it when you guys watch when we're actually doing the video, when you watch it live, because, you know, we can talk about these things. I can ask you guys for feedback. You can give me cool color names, and you can ask questions, and of course, we can just say hi and chat, and that is the fun part. Okay, guys, so this is it. We just made the bracelet, and I will give you a little bit of a preview of what is going on next week. So next week I do have my my video for my stitching friends on Monday. And it's not a stitching video. I don't do any stitching, but I present some fun projects that are created by talented stitching designers from around the world. And this Monday, I'm presenting a couple of patterns. And then, of course, on Thursday, I have a video. And this is, you know what, I forgot which one is which, but I'm doing the beachcomber. Is this on Thursday? I think this is the Thursday video. This is the beachcomber necklace. And doesn't it just look like you're on the beach and you're looking at the ocean? And in one case, it's just this beautiful emerald ocean, and on my left, it's the sunset, and I love that.
June says, great job. Snowbird back in Florida. Now have time to watch all the videos.
Oh, yay, June. Thank you so much.
And Tasha says, you make it look so easy. Can't wait to try it. What would you use if you were making it for guys?
Oh, Tasha, that's a great question. So, well, first of all, I love that you're going to try it. And really, I know I make it easy, but this one actually is so crazy easy. You're going to surprise yourself. So if I were making it for guys, you know what I'm going to do? Next week, when I come back, I will make it a point to grab a big lobster clasp, like a really big oversized lobster clasp. And I would use a big lobster clasp instead of the button. So that itself will make it much more masculine. And I'm just thinking, what would I do with my little mini tassel? Would I do anything differently? So I definitely would not use the shiny beads, that's for sure. You know what I would do? I would probably use a single bead, a single metal bead, something that's a little bit more masculine. And maybe, and I hate to say this because this sends you to a hardware store for for your components. But what if you, what do you call that knot? You know, the six-sided knot.
A nut.
A knot, yes. That's what you call it. So, you know, that hardware-y kind of knot, you know, for a guy who is into that guy stuff. But Tony's making a little bit of a face. So actually, maybe I would use an African metal bead, or maybe a recycled bead, something that's a bit more chunky and a bit more masculine.
Louise is wondering, does the leather bleed if wet?
Louise, that's a great question. I don't know, but in general, I would really recommend that you don't get it wet. I would recommend that you don't go swimming or shower with it, because leather will deteriorate when it's wet. You know, just like your shoes, you know, unless they're specifically meant to play in puddles, generally it's good to stay out of the puddles, right? So I would probably say, yes, if you want to keep your bracelet longer, just stay out of water.
Judy says a wood bead for men? Maybe wood beads?
Yes, that's wonderful. Yes, a wooden bead. I'm thinking those, you know, those Indonesian beads that are inlaid, maybe they're bone beads. To me, they're very masculine looking. And you know what? I am just going to commit to making a version of this in a masculine style, or at least the way that I would interpret a masculine style, and I will show it to you guys next week.
Linda A says maybe just a knot, and Lynn C says no tassel for guys, just a knot, maybe?
Yeah, that would be fine too.
Tasha says great ideas, thank you. And Sylvia says Happy New Year. I came in late, we'll watch the replay.
Oh, thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you as well. I'm glad you're planning to watch the replay. And, you know, just one more thought. Yes, you know, that's a really good thought. Why not just, maybe, you know what I would do? I would, maybe if I weren't using a bead, I would just tie a bigger knot for a guy. And you know how to tie a bigger knot for a guy. Instead of your regular, what we call an overhand knot, just put the end of the leather through the knot several times. I know if you do it twice, it's a surgeon's knot, but try putting it through like 3 times, and look, you have this really fun kind of boho knot, and that would replace your beads. What do you guys think about that? I think that would work really well. Okay, so we have all sorts of fun ideas about how to make these a little bit more masculine. But in the meantime, we have quite a few different variations for the ladies, and you pick the one that you bond with, I guess. So, oh yes, and to continue with my preview for next week, so we have the Beachcomber on Thursday, and then we have Vintage Garden on Friday, and I'm pretty excited about both of them for different reasons. You know what? Actually, some of these fit me better than others, but I'm going to show you all of these before we're done.
Linda W says after you make it, you can soak the cut off pieces in water.
To
see if
make
they
it
bleed.
a little,
Yeah.
you know what? That is a fantastic idea.
Karen says great project.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Suni says me too, came in late, we'll watch the replay.
Awesome. Yes, please do. And, you know, I want you guys to know we save all the videos, so you can always watch it at any time.
Carol says brown or black stone.
For a guy, either.
And Linda A says great. Suni says love doubling the knots idea.
Yeah, and did you like the triple knot? It really looks kind of fun. This is the triple knot. And I don't think that this is just for guys. This is, I mean, I like that.
Suni says, Irina, with all your samples, do you sell them?
Absolutely, Suni. I sell samples every day. Yes, we have a kind of a display of my samples in the store, and you know, I usually hold on to them for a few weeks after the video, and then as we move on, we sell them. So yeah, this is what we made today, and this is what is still coming. And oh yes, and I was sorry, I distracted myself with pretty shiny things, as I usually do. And so this is our project for next Friday. And what makes this one kind of a little special and interesting is that this addresses how do you combine 2-hole beads and single-hole beads. And people ask me this all the time. What do you do with 2-hole beads? Or how do you use 2-hole beads in a project where you don't have all 2-hole beads? So this sort of the inspiration came from you guys, from asking those questions. And I love it when you ask. So please do keep them coming. If you guys want to create something specific, I love your ideas. I really welcome them. So please give me some more, because really fun things come from your questions and your ideas.
Sylvia says, I love the crystal version.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you know what? That's what we didn't do. We didn't vote on our favorite. So you guys tell me what your favorite is. So we have the crystal, we have the magma, we have the bronze button, and we have the flower button. And then, of course, we are going to have the sand dollar.
Brenda says, I love these, quick and easy.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm so glad you do. And really, I cannot emphasize just how really, really quick and easy this is. So tell me what your favorites are, and then we'll call it a day. What do you guys think?
Sweeney says the flower button.
The flower button, thank you. And in the meantime, I will, oh yes, so in the meantime, I will share with you that the beachcomber necklace is really, if you're planning to watch next Thursday, it is both a really great review of some good stringing basics. This is the project where I show stringing. We're going to be stringing with griffin cord. We're going to be talking about finishing. And this is a really good one to both review the stringing basics and also include your friends who may be just starting out. So maybe send them a link for this video, include them on this one if you want to help somebody start making jewelry.
Lonnie says bronze button, and Karen says rainbow.
Oh.
Connie says, I like the sand dollar. Tasha says, my choice is all.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Brenda says sand dollar and flower button. And Pat S says bronze button and the sand dollar.
Well, thank you so much for letting me know. I love that it's just kind of spread all across. I love that.
Louise says rainbow, and Dorothy says, I would like to learn how to make those.
Awesome.
Just rewatch the video.
Yes, and you know what? I'm so glad you said that, Dorothy, because when you get your kit, when you open the kit, there's a link right back to this video. This is something that we did not necessarily catch onto in the very beginning, but then we realized that sometimes it's hard to find the video unless you have the link. And so with the kits, we started including the link right in the kit so that it's very, very easy for you to re-watch the video. And the video is your directions for how to do it. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for watching. This was so fun. This is a very easy way for me to jump right back into it. And I look forward to many, many more videos this year. Thank you for all of your suggestions for the names.
And you have a wonderful and creative weekend. I will see you next week.